Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and distill your sources into clear, actionable insights. Today, we're plunging into a topic that feels, well, universally relevant.
Yeah.
The relentless battle for our attention.
Yeah.
And the subtle, often insidious ways it sabotages our focus. You know that feeling, that restless urge to check your phone, the endless scroll, the difficulty starting or sticking with important tasks? We're going to explore why that happens and, crucially, what you can do to reclaim your focus.
Exactly. Our deep dive today is primarily informed by Thibaut Meurisse's Dopamine Detox Guide to Remove Distractions, a resource specifically designed to help you eliminate those digital hooks and train your brain for sustained effort.
Right.
For anyone feeling scattered, overwhelmed, or maybe stuck in a cycle of procrastination, this is for you. Our mission is really to understand how our modern environment might be, well, hijacking our attention.
Hijacking, yeah.
And then arm you with practical strategies to regain control and find a deeper sense of presence.
So if you're ready to learn how to feel naturally motivated and focused on the things that truly matter, let's dive in. Okay, let's start by unpacking dopamine, because the guide highlights a pretty common misconception, I think,
Right.
about what this neurotransmitter actually does.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us think of it as the brain's pleasure chemical, but the sources suggest a much more complex and, frankly, maybe more problematic role.
Right. What's truly fascinating here is that dopamine isn't primarily about the experience of pleasure itself. It's the molecule of anticipation.
Anticipation.
Yeah. It's a neurotransmitter, basically a chemical messenger in the brain that generates our desire to act, to pursue crucial rewards like food or a partner. It's the driving force behind seeking things out.
So it gets us moving.
Exactly. This evolutionary mechanism was incredibly useful for our survival, obviously. But in today's hyper-stimulated world, that ancient process has been, well, fundamentally hijacked.
And here's where the guide presents a fascinating paradox. That momentary hit we get from checking a notification, the anticipated reward often leaves us feeling surprisingly empty or, unfulfilled once it's actually received. Why does the guide say this temporary hit is so unsatisfying? And how does it fuel that more craving?
It's precisely because dopamine is about anticipation, not satisfaction. The initial spike comes from the promise of a reward.
Ah, the promise.
Yeah. Once you get it, that spike quickly dissipates, often leaving a kind of void. This makes us constantly chase the next hit, the next notification, the next scroll.
So it's a cycle.
It's a self-reinforcing loop where the more stimulation we seek, the more our baseline shifts, requiring stronger and stronger stimuli to get that same initial feeling of novelty or excitement. This mechanism contributes to what feels like addiction, even to everyday activities like gambling, video games, shopping, or maybe even extreme exercise.
It sounds like our brains are being subtly reprogrammed. So if we're constantly craving more, who actually benefits from this persistent state of anticipation? The sources are quite clear that there are powerful forces at play here.
You're right to ask that. Your focus is an incredibly scarce and valuable asset, and companies invest billions, literally billions, to capture it.
Billions? Wow.
Social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they are meticulously designed to hook you. Sophisticated algorithms and those little red notifications.
Well, the red dots.
Exactly. They trigger that dopamine anticipation, compelling you to click, scroll, and potentially spend hours redirecting your valuable attention. The internet, in a very real sense, can start using you rather than the other way around.
And it's not just the tech world, is it? Our innate drive for highly nourishing food, our natural craving for sugar and fat, that's also leveraged.
Absolutely. Professor Suzanne Klaus, cited in the guide, highlights how the combination of sugar and fat is especially effective in stimulating the brain's reward system.
Especially effective.
Yeah. This understanding has led the food industry to add sugar to, well, most processed foods, making us crave more. Now there's ongoing debate about whether sugar is addictive in the same way as hard drugs.
All right, I've heard that debate.
With Dr. Zerdine suggesting it's maybe more akin to nicotine, according to Robert Lustig. But it undeniably contributes to this larger cycle of seeking constant, easy stimulation.
So if we zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture, this constant stimulation profoundly impacts our ability to think long-term, doesn't it?
It really does. Dr. Edward Banfield's research from Harvard shows that a long-term perspective is the most important determinant of financial and personal success.
The most important.
But modern society, with its instant feedback loops, likes, comments, get-rich-quick schemes, it wires our brains for super fast results. This distorts our perception of time, making us believe success should come quickly and easily. which, can lead to jealousy, feelings of inadequacy,
Yeah, comparing yourself constantly.
and a desperate rush that neglects the patience and consistent action truly needed for significant achievement.
The story of Amazon, taking 9 years to become profitable while reinvesting heavily, that perfectly illustrates that long-term thinking. But when we're caught in this cycle of overstimulation, those truly impactful long-term tasks, the ones that build success brick by brick, they just seem incredibly dull.
That's a core problem right there. Overstimulation creates a significant mismatch in your internal state. Your brain gets accustomed to a high-energy, constantly stimulated state akin to being on a fast, exciting roller coaster.
Right, always needing that next thrill.
Whereas deep, impactful work, the kind that truly moves you forward, demands a much calmer, sustained focus, like a peaceful, deliberate hike. This difference makes those important tasks feel incredibly dull and immediately leads to procrastination.
Procrastination, the enemy.
Your mind plays tricks. Oh, returning to work is easy. You can do it later. Or even believing that excitement is fulfillment. There's also the fear of missing out, FOMO, which stems from a scarcity mindset, convincing us every opportunity must be seized immediately.
Right, got to jump on everything.
The sources clearly state that excitement is not fulfillment. A deeper sense of peace and focused engagement is what brings lasting satisfaction.
So if this widespread problem of overstimulation is making us feel constantly restless and unproductive, the obvious question is, how do we break free? The guide offers a compelling answer with the concept of a dopamine detox.
Yes, and it's important we clarify what dopamine detox means in this context. Scientifically, it's not really about reducing the amount of dopamine release.
Okay, not less dopamine itself.
No, rather, it's about lowering your need for external stimuli to trigger that dopamine release. When you're constantly overstimulated, you simply need more and more external input for the same effect, like a tolerance.
Right, the tolerance thing again.
A detox helps lower that baseline, essentially making those seemingly boring but important tasks feel more appealing and easier to tackle. It's about reverting to a more natural, calmer state where your internal reward system is resensitized.
So it's really about resetting our internal reward system, making us sensitive to smaller, more natural rewards again, rather than trying to cut out dopamine entirely.
Precisely.
And the guide offers a few different approaches to this detox, catering to varying levels of commitment, starting with the most intensive one.
That's right. The most demanding is the 48-hour complete dopamine detox. This involves eliminating nearly all sources of external stimulation for 2 full days.
2 full days, wow.
And when we say nearly all, we mean it. No drugs, alcohol, no exercising, no internet, movies, music, except for pure relaxation. No phones, social media, sugar-processed foods, or video games.
Wow, that sounds pretty drastic. For many of us, 48 hours without our devices or even just social media might feel like a mini survival challenge. What's the guide's biggest reassurance for people daunted by that, and what will we actually do with all that newfound unstimulated time?
It definitely sounds intense, and it is meant to be a significant reset. The reassurance, I think, is that this isn't about deprivation for its own sake, but about re-engaging with natural internal calm.
Okay, refocusing inward.
Exactly. The guide suggests activities like contemplative walks, journaling, meditating, practicing awareness exercises, reading but only non-stimulating material, and stretching. It even references a friend of the author who attended a 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat.
10 days?
Which is an even more extreme version, just to put the 48-hour detox into perspective and highlight the power of really disconnecting.
Okay. 10 days makes 48 hours sound a bit more manageable. So if the full 48-hour shutdown feels a bit too much to start with, are there more accessible options that still offer significant benefits?
Absolutely. There's the 24-hour dopamine detox, which is basically a shorter, slightly less intense version, still impactful though.
1 day. Okay.
And then there's the partial dopamine detox, which is less demanding but still highly effective, especially when maintained over a longer period. This involves identifying and removing your single biggest source of stimulation, the one activity that acts as your greatest distraction.
Just one.
Just targeting the biggest one. For the author, it was YouTube. This allows for a more sustainable, targeted approach, focusing your efforts where they'll have the most impact initially.
That makes a lot of sense, starting where you'll get the most leverage. So whether someone goes for a full detox or a more targeted partial one, how does the guide recommend actually implementing it? What are the actionable steps?
The guide lays out a clear 3-step method. The first crucial step is to identify your biggest distractions.
Okay, awareness first.
Right. This means creating 2 lists. Cans for activities you allow during the detox, like walking or journaling, and cans for activities you must avoid, like YouTube, checking emails constantly, or social media. The key question to ask yourself is, if I stopped doing only one thing, which one would increase my focus and boost my productivity the most dramatically?
That's a powerful filter. It forces you to get really honest and specific about your personal triggers.
Yeah.
Once you've pinpointed what to avoid, the second step, as I understand it, is about making those undesirable behaviors harder to actually engage in.
Precisely. This is where adding friction comes in. The principle is simple. The harder something is to access, the less likely you are to do it.
Make it inconvenient.
Exactly. For example, if your phone is a constant distraction, remove all notifications, put it on airplane mode, or even better, put it in a separate room where it's not within easy reach.
Out of sight, out of mind. Somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah. For social media, consider using browser extensions like Newsfeed Eradicator for Facebook or DFTude for YouTube to remove those endless suggestions and notifications. The author even describes going to the extreme of putting his internet modem in a storage room, intentionally creating 12 physical steps of friction to access it.
12 steps. That's an incredibly vivid example of just how deliberate we need to be to break these automatic habits.
So beyond the physical, how can we apply this idea of friction to our digital environment? And conversely, how do we make our desired behaviors easier to start?
Excellent question. Digitally, it's about setting up those browser extensions, logging out of apps automatically, or even using website blockers for specific periods. You create barriers, and for desired behaviors, you reverse the friction. If your goal is to write, you leave your word processor open, maybe put on some calming background music, set a timer to signal your focus session. You make it easy to begin.
Remove the barriers to the good stuff. Exactly. It's about strategically setting up your environment for success. The third and final step in the method is to start first thing in the morning.
The morning routine. Crucial.
The guide emphasizes that what you do upon waking really sets the tone for your entire day. If you check your phone or internet first, you're immediately overstimulating your brain and inviting distraction right from the get-go.
I can certainly relate to that initial phone check, just derailing the whole morning. So what are some specific examples of activities we can incorporate into a positive, calming morning routine, especially when we're trying to resist that urge to grab our devices?
Focus on activities that calm your mind and deepen your focus rather than stimulate you. Think meditation, even just 5 minutes, stretching, listening to relaxation music.
Things that ground you.
Precisely. Writing down your goals or things you're grateful for in a journal, or repeating positive affirmations. This consistent morning routine helps kickstart your detox and can have a massive long-term impact on your overall focus and well-being. Beyond these 3 steps, the guide also provides some valuable tips for maximizing your detox.
Oh, like what?
Like taking notes on your urges and restlessness to learn about your brain's patterns, reflecting on your goals and how you use your time to gain perspective, or even writing down your problems and fears to sort of declutter your mind and gain clarity.
So it's active reflection during the detox.
Yeah, it's truly about creating space for deeper self-awareness.
Okay, completing a detox is a powerful step, but the real challenge, I imagine, is maintaining that newfound focus and preventing a slide back into old habits. How do we build resilience for the long term and do the work effectively?
It all begins with planning your day intentionally. Each morning, clarify maybe 3-5 key tasks, prioritize them, and tackle them in order.
Be deliberate.
This intentionality limits distractions and gives you a much greater sense of control. The critical question here is, if I could complete only one task today, which one would have the greatest impact? These high-impact tasks are often the ones we procrastinate on most, but the detox actually makes them feel more appealing.
Because your baseline stimulation need is lower.
Exactly. And this intentionality also extends to setting weekly, monthly, and long-term goals.
So it's about directing that reclaimed focus where it genuinely matters most.
Yeah.
And the guide breaks down productivity itself into 3 core elements: focus, consistency, and impact.
That's right. Productivity is defined as having consistent focus on your most impactful tasks. To develop that laser-sharp focus, the guide offers 5 specific actions.
Okay, let's hear them.
1. Be at the same place, at the same time every day for your key tasks. This strengthens your routine, much like Stephen King's renowned writing habit.
Routine builds habit.
2. Choose a specific trigger to signal the start of your work. Something calming, like making a cup of tea. 3. Just get started. Even a few minutes can build momentum and often lead to a flow state where you become hyper-focused and even enjoy the work. Action, surprisingly, generates motivation.
Don't wait for motivation, just start.
Exactly. 4. Eliminate all distractions during your work sessions. That means phone notifications off, social media closed, internet off, unless it's absolutely essential to the task.
Create that bubble.
And 5. Work without interruptions, ideally for concentrated 45-minute blocks with short restorative breaks. Protect that focus time.
That focus on eliminating distractions is crucial. The guide then introduces this really insightful concept of open systems versus closed systems. Can you elaborate on that and how it helps us structure our environment for better focus?
Yeah, this framing is incredibly helpful for designing your workspace and workflow. Open systems are applications or situations that offer a continuous, never-ending supply of stimuli and potential distractions.
Like email or Facebook feed.
Exactly. Email, social media feeds, YouTube homepage, they create endless distraction loops. Conversely, closed systems offer little to no room for distraction, forcing you to concentrate solely on the task at hand.
Like a Word doc.
Think a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet, a PowerPoint presentation. The strong recommendation is to start your day by engaging with a closed system. This prevents early overstimulation and makes those challenging, impactful tasks much easier to engage with.
That's a powerful and practical way to think about structuring our environment. But even with the best intentions and systems, old habits die hard, right? What happens after the initial detox, and how do we avoid what the guide calls dopamine relapse?
Relapse is a normal part of habit change, honestly. So the first step is just awareness, noticing when you start becoming overstimulated again and recommitting to your routine without beating yourself up about it.
No guilt. Awareness.
Right. And it's crucial to understand that the world is against you in this. Marketers and platforms are constantly vying for your attention. Your focus is an incredibly valuable resource, both to them and to your own personal progress. So actively protecting it is essential.
It truly sounds like a constant, ongoing battle then. How can we proactively prepare for those moments when we feel ourselves slipping?
By creating a contingency plan. Take time to think about all the ways you might lose focus, revisit your can't list from the detox, maybe envision worst-case scenarios for distraction,
Pre-planning the defense.
and mentally prepare how you want to react in those moments. This proactive approach helps you anticipate and guard against falling back into old patterns. Ultimately, it's about putting a sustainable system in place, a simple, consistent daily routine of good, intentional habits.
Makes sense. Beyond just avoiding the bad, the guide also suggests actively cultivating here and now neurotransmitters to enhance our natural state of calm. What does that involve?
Yes, this is about integrating activities that make you feel calmer, more present, and activate beneficial neurotransmitters like endorphins, oxytocin, or serotonin, things that feel good in a different way.
So what kind of activities are we talking about?
Think of practices like meditation again, even just a few minutes focusing on your breath. Stretching. Mindful eating, slowing down, really observing bodily sensations.
Being present.
Exactly. Contemplative walking, engaging all your senses in your surroundings. Deep social interactions, real conversations, which activate oxytocin. And even embracing boredom, allowing yourself to simply be without constant external stimulation.
Learning to be bored again.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it's powerful. These activities ground you and reduce your susceptibility to overstimulation. And to really solidify these changes, the guide recommends committing to a 30-day challenge to consistently adhere to a simple, intentional daily routine.
The 30-day challenge. That seems like a good way to embed it. This whole deep dive into dopamine detox has truly shifted my perspective on how much our modern environment is designed to constantly pull at our attention, and how profoundly that impacts our ability to pursue what truly matters. It's a clear message that constant stimulation doesn't lead to fulfillment, but rather a kind of restless, unending chase.
Indeed. By understanding dopamine's true role, that anticipation piece, and the clever mechanisms that exploit it, you can begin to regain genuine control over your mind and your time. The actionable 3-step method, identifying distractions, strategically adding friction, and starting your day with intentional calming routines, provides a really powerful roadmap.
Yeah, it feels practical.
It's about being deliberate in protecting your focus and cultivating a lifestyle that supports deeper work, genuine connection, and ultimately lasting peace.
That distinction between excitement and fulfillment really resonates with me. It's a call to move beyond the temporary highs of constant stimulation and instead immerse ourselves in work, hobbies, relationships that bring lasting peace and meaning.
Well said.
And you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight.
All right.
But just taking one or two of these suggestions to reduce unnecessary stimulation can have a profound impact on your daily experience.
Absolutely. The ultimate takeaway here is that you have a choice. You can either allow your environment to dictate your focus, passively drift along, or you can actively reclaim it. By building habits and systems that prioritize calm, presence, and impactful work, you stand a much better chance of achieving your goals and living a more fulfilled life, one deliberate step at a time.
So if you reflect on this deep dive, what stands out to you? Perhaps it's identifying your single biggest distraction, maybe YouTube like the author, or designing your morning to be less stimulating, or even just scheduling one high-impact task tomorrow. We encourage you to reflect on that one change you can implement starting today.
And for your final thought, consider this. In a world constantly vying for your attention, what if the most rebellious and truly productive act is simply to be still?